Trevor talks about flying saucers seen in areas with masses of water. As I said, this is often related to the groups underneath. Question. On occasions, creatures fitting the descriptions of the elementals you have described have been seen stealing water, or water has disappeared in large amounts following saucer sightings. Why is this? Answer. Water is a valued commodity in the center of the earth where they dwell. One of the reasons they come to your surface is to steal water, which they do from tanks, lakes, rivers, and reservoirs as convenience dictates. So it's hot down there, and they don't have much love. They don't know love well, so they live in an environment with much heat and less water. That's the excellent demonstration of as without, so within. You create your own reality, and entities of particular consciousness disposition end up environments reflecting, symbolizing their predominant consciousness disposition. And so that's just the way it goes. Question. What are the present intentions of the dark forces concerning assaults on our surface? And this was in the mid-50s. Answer. During the next few weeks and months, the astral forces will increase their activities along the western coast of America. Many of their craft will be sighted. Should aircraft of yours be sent against them, they will be destroyed through the agency of a heat ray. Fires of mysterious origin will occur in the Americas and Western Europe. Explosions and unforecasted weather phenomena of a destructive type are a part of their system of attack. Communications will be interrupted and airplanes forced down. Failures in electronic equipment are easily induced by them. Question. Many investigators are anxious to know why the dark forces cause these crashes of airplanes and collisions involving loss of life. It is not readily apparent to us, nor exactly how it is done. Answer. First, let me say that the Dark Ones are highly desirous of causing destruction to airplanes and do so frequently. They would, if it were possible, bring down many more of them if this action would not result in their being detected by some of your people. The reason for this airplane crashing is really very simple for one who has grasped the concept of astral and etheric realms beyond the physical. Frequently, the astrals desire some particular person for a particular or special purpose, perhaps a technician, an engineer, or one of special skill or talent. They wish to abduct him, in other words. After an airplane crash, when the person concerned is released from his physical body, and after his, quote, death, his astral form is seized and taken to the nether regions. The crashes are brought about by several methods. First, instrumentation failure, resulting in collision of one kind or another. Secondly, production of fire, usually in the vicinity of the fuel tanks. Thirdly, complete suspension of the entire electrical system of the airplane. Fourthly, the use of the force field of their own craft to induce structural failure. So, this is a super heavy discussion. In the 50s, I guess somebody could do the research, but it's really not necessary. The claim was that soon after this material was received, these subterranean astral negative forces will increase their activity along the west coast of America, right? So that they generally, I imagine, fly along the oceans or, over ocean. Many of the craft will be sighted, maybe because of the astronomicals at the time, meaning the astronomical conditions between Earth and Moon and Mars, favoring the visibility of the craft. Aircraft sent against them being destroyed. How many U.S. and other nations' military planes have been destroyed by fighting or going against these astral craft that become apparent? Maybe many, probably many, many more than have been reported in the mainstream deception media. Then we have fires of mysterious origin. In the Americas and Western Europe, well, what's been going on the west coast of America? Lots of fires. Any relation to the astral group action at this time? Maybe so. Explosions, unforecasted weather phenomenon of destructive type, are part of their system of attack. This is probably 1 in 100 million people on Earth would think that not only are the human leadership involved in covert weather warfare, but we have astral entities beneath the planet associated with weather warfare and manipulation. Not only secret human project technologies, also, possibly, I mean, if this is true, these astral entities do weather warfare on humanity too. Then, communication interruption. Airplanes forced down. How many planes have been forced down beyond what we know? Many, many, I imagine. The cases of airplane crashing probably is considered a high priority for cover-up. Certainly the ones that would be caused by this. At this point, the media, I mean, mainstream media is just a direct organ of propaganda and deception. There's nothing more. The media is just propaganda, deception matrix, nothing more today. Generally, the mainstream media and the alternative media is becoming more and more infiltrated and deceptive and limited value as well. Not totally, but to a certain degree. All sorts of things are probably still going on now that we're not told about, that would be relegated to very fringe publications or alternative news sites. How many current global communication failures, cutting cables under the oceans, or cables under oceans, or satellite communication satellites failures are associated with these negative entities astral? I don't know. Probably more, obviously more than we would know. So it's a pretty heavy thing that some of, at least there's a parallelism, there's a contiguity here between what's being attributed to the astral entities beneath the surface of the Earth that come out regularly, and secret shadow government, deep state, Illuminati, negative entities in the, Satanists in NASA and the military-industrial complex of all the major nations. So there's high cooperation, I imagine, between the two, which may be why they've gone to South America or South Pole, right? Antarctica. Well, maybe they're working together. It would seem to be so. And so you've got similar activities going on. Aircraft crashes, military aircraft crashes, mysterious or huge wildfires here or there, explosions. What is that? Earthquake, volcanic activity. Unforecasted weather phenomenon, what appears to be manipulated weather that's destructive, a la weather warfare. Communications interruptions, been happening a lot in a lot of places. Certainly there seems to be an uptick in all of these destructive activities in the last 10, 20 years. And so does that mean a closer cooperation and increased activity between the human elite, quote elite, the satanic leadership, military, industrial, the technocracy, the black technocracy, and the astral beings below the earth? Probably so. I imagine so. What's going on? Why? This source Ashtar saying the Dark Ones are highly desirous of causing destruction to airplanes. They don't like airplanes. I guess they think that the space, the atmosphere is theirs. They own the skies, or they believe they should. And so now, the Logos lets it all ride. The Logos and the Confederation, they do their thing, but this is what free will means. This is what free will means, is that these beings have some scope of relative freedom to keep doing these things. Doesn't seem righteous to me. But creation is not about enforced righteousness. It's about beingness choosing, and beingness experiencing consequences of choices, and beingness, entities seeking and become one, although nearly all go on the positive path, 90%. Down here on this planet, we have a real cacophony of distorted minds. Human and astral, 3D and 4D, and the logos probably the idea of prison planet. Alex Jones talks about prison planet. I don't think this is a prison planet, but it seems to be a correctional institute for wayward 3D souls, human, physical, and astral, which are negative generally here. I mean, positively oriented souls, or those that are seeking love light, don't make trouble. And this is really a minority. But the problem, of course, is that the human civilization is run by the allies of Orion. And so they like destruction, the astrals and Orion and the 3D technocratic occultists. Airplane crashing goes on and on. And here it's said that they can take somebody after their body has died. They seize the astral form and take them down to below the subterranean realms of the earth that are astral. Now, I would assume that person would have to have sufficient karma and be quite unprotected, spiritually, metaphysically, for that to happen. I really don't. I mean, there's no doubt to me that this is not happening to everybody who they want and crashes, they get. They don't get everything they want. They get what they can. And if the human is more centered in love light or positively oriented, I don't think this is happening. Now, everything's, there are all sorts of things that go on that I don't know about. much. An infinity of ignorance we have, indeed. No, not infinity, but huge unknowing. And so there may be cases where somebody, where this happens, indeed, just as it's written. I mean, it's obviously a disturbing idea. The seizure of a person's astral form, it's basically astral kidnapping, astral seizure, astral abduction. Some people have talked about this, and indeed it does happen. I would assume that it happens only for those whose karma allows it, who are without protection, and who've played on the left-hand side. So all you agents who may be listening, have fun, friends. Maybe this will happen to you after you die. So, it's a serious matter. There is no protection on the negative path. You're on your own. And on the positive path, because you're supporting the plan, the divine plan, that entities seek and become one, as you yourself are seeking to become one in love and truth and light and goodness and balance and reality and honesty. As we are seeking that, likewise we are supporting the divine plan whose purpose is that entities may seek and become one. In truth, in love, in truth. That perspective confers some protection. Now, we all have lower chakra blockages, but and some entities go to hell for a short time and come out. That happens all the time too. And Buddhists understand it's not permanent. It's all anicca, it's all impermanent, it's all transitory and changing. One can be seized and captured and lost for a while, and soon pull out. Happens all the time too. But it is not a safe way of living, and it will not be safe when you're dying to be on the negative path or play this way. You play this way, those that know much more will do just what they will against you. So for anybody listening that knows what I'm talking about and knows the truth of the material here, take a long look in the mirror and consider the future you're making for yourself today and tomorrow.